guys, I'm Mel. I don't think I've ever introduced myself on the channel before. I thought today I'd film a painting video, but not any old painting video. I thought I'd film a painting and politics video because I'm very bad at painting, but very good at talking about my opinions, and I have lots of them. I was actually going to talk about sovereignty, but I just feel like in our current climate, it's not worth talking about that, and there's far more important things to talk about. Yeah, I thought I'd do some painting and talk to you guys about how I feel in the midst of COVID-19, especially because I feel that not enough young people are talking about their experiences. If you hadn't guessed, I'm a British student. I'm currently doing my A-levels, and I'll be studying politics in the next academic year. I tried to film this video like 5 minutes ago, but my phone ran out of storage, so I've already started painting, and in the other video I was like, ooh, I'm not going to be able to paint well, but actually what I've done so far, oh please don't spill, I'm using watercolours, and I'm trying to get that runny effect on purpose, but I don't want it to spill anywhere else just yet. I don't want it to spill anywhere else just yet. I don't want it to spill anywhere else. There we go. That's currently what my painting looks like. When I'm done with it, I'll insert a really nice photo. I'll try to take a really nice photo of the mess I've made. I was trying to draw flowers. Now it looks like clouds, so I've just gone with that vibe. But I've currently been in isolation for just over 2 months now. Oh no, it'll be 2 months tomorrow actually. In my personal experience, I think I'm quite fortunate because I live in an area where there aren't many people. I used to live in London, and I think if I was living in London at this point, it'd be an incredibly different experience. So I do recognise I'm incredibly fortunate. COVID-19 has been especially challenging for young people because they have to spend a significant amount of time in at-home setting, and they don't have that structure of college or school anymore. In terms of today's stats, 243,000 cases were confirmed today, and about 34,600 deaths were confirmed today also. That's a 3,000 increase in terms of case confirmation, and unfortunately a 200 increase in fatalities. But what we are being told at the moment is that there seems to be some form of regression of COVID. It was either Cambridge or Oxford. They did a study to see how many people are actually being infected and what the R values actually are across the UK. And London surprisingly came out with the lowest R value of 0.4, meaning for every 10 people infected they would infect another 4 people, whereas the northeast and Yorkshire have an R value of 0.8. I think it varies across different areas in the UK, hence why the prediction is between 0.7 to 1. I think in terms of what I've heard, online schooling is very difficult. I've been quite lucky because my subjects aren't very strenuous, and I'm currently only doing one where I actually have to learn the course now, and I'm just doing other things to distract me and bide my time. But for a lot of kids, I find that many people's have kind of lost that motivation to keep learning, especially because all exams have been cancelled, yet they're still being taught a course which they know they aren't going to be examined on. And I think if you wanted kids to keep learning and to keep trying to learn about things that they're not going to be examined on, you shouldn't have conditioned them to feel like school exists for them to get a qualification through examination, which is really unfortunate for a system that was well intended. In terms of the NHS, I think it's undeniable the NHS is under strain. I want to not bash the Conservative government, but I don't think many people would be upset with me if I did at this point. I think the NHS workers that are working at Nightingale Hospital are incredibly brave and incredibly selfless, as most people that choose to work in the NHS are. So they do deserve commendment. I just find that it's quite unfortunate that it's taken something like this for people to actually recognise the hard work that they've been showing for decades, really. I recently read this book by Adam Kay called This Is Going to Hurt. It's a very popular book, and it is because it is a great read, where he really gives insight into the struggles of being an NHS worker. And after I read the book, I could understand why so many people would want to go into privatised institutions to practice medicine. It's all with good intention, but when a service that is so necessary is being underfunded and stripped to its very core, there's only so much good people can do. The Conservative government have been throwing around this figure of building 40 new hospitals for the past decade, and yet we've seen a tenth of our hospital beds no longer exist, and you can see the running effect of it in people that receive elective surgeries which are no longer even elective. Elective means the surgeries are in some way optional, but for most people it's actually a necessity and can actually be life-saving. We find that so many of these operations are having to be cancelled, and it's just heartbreaking to see such a well-intended institution be pushed to its very limit. I'm hoping that one of the good things, if you can call it a good thing, that comes of I almost dipped my paintbrush in my coffee. I've done that twice already. I'm hoping that one of the good things that will come of COVID-19 is that people will recognise how much NHS workers do, and maybe rethink their political stances to some extent. I think it's a beautiful thing that people are going outside every Thursday to clap for the NHS, and for some people that will be drive enough for them to keep going. But I wouldn't be surprised if so many NHS workers feel angered. Recently, Virgin Media ran this donation thing where you would run 5 miles, or 5 kilometres, sorry, and you would donate £5, which is funny because Virgin Media actually tried to sue the NHS, and I think while most people were unaware of this, some people were aware of it, and it did eventually spread the message, so it has died down a bit. But I would say if you really do want to donate to the NHS, I would go to your local institution and inquire from them. It's probably best to do so after COVID-19 because they'll need just as much support afterwards. At the moment there's still uncertainty about when lockdown will actually end. The Education Minister state that England will have some form of consideration of whether schools will be reopening. Apparently it's likely they will be in England because of scientific evidence. So this is what my canvas currently looks like. I quite like it. I will go over it with some sort of outline and probably add a bit there to the cloud, because the cloud kind of looks a bit awkward. I think it's very unlikely that schools in Wales will open up. It's very much down to the Senedd. It's very much going to be the case that Wales are left to decide what to do. It feels like there's a lack of necessity due to exams no longer happening, but then also we have to think about key workers that will probably need their kids to go back to school at some point. So it's a lot of uncertainty in that area, but it is likely that schools in England will be opening up soon, from what the Education Minister has suggested. I think this is an incredibly strange experience, and one that is incredibly unlikely to happen in our lifetime again, because things like this usually happen once every century. But many people have been saying that environmental factors would encourage us to act the same way as we have been during COVID-19. Rivers have been clearer than ever. It's been the first time in years that the Himalayas have been visible from India. It's undeniable that we're currently in an environmental crisis, but it would be insensitive to use that as some form of encouragement for people to be more aware of their actions and its effect on the environment. I'm going to try and find out what that word is, and it's some sort of like term which denotes people that care so much about the environment that it almost seems as if they are posing the environment more important than other kinds of natural beings. I'll insert a picture of the word because I really want to know what that word is now. I actually really like how this is coming out. The thing with watercolour paint is that it takes so long to dry, and I'm a really impatient person. And I probably should have laid a mat down or something on my desk, so the water doesn't actually run and stick to it. I don't even know if I've been visible this whole time in the camera, because it's 9 o'clock in the evening. I decided to film now. I did also want to talk about like how this current situation has been some form of like, has been like portrayed as some form of opportunity for people to come out of their shells and glow up and be better people all of a sudden. I just feel like that's such a toxic way to post such a difficult time. People that can take this time as a time to self-better themselves are in an incredibly fortunate position. For many people, the most important thing at this time is keeping themselves and keeping those around them safe. You are one of those people that can take this as an opportunity to self-better. I do want to reiterate, we are incredibly lucky in the positions that we are in. But also, if you are in a position where you can take it as a time for self-bettering, but your mental health is struggling, the media has a way of portraying any time as a time for you to be something that you don't have to be. And what's most important is that we preserve our mental health and our physical health as best as we can. If you aren't growing from the mindset that people are portraying on social media, take some time away from it. I took a really short time off of social media, and I just found that my creativity flourished again, and I was just in a much happier mindset because of it. So yeah, I just really recommend that you do whatever you think is best to preserve your mental health. Please make sure to check on your friends and hope that they're doing okay too. So I think it's very easy to forget that other people around you, as happy as they may seem, they may be really struggling at this time. And this really needs to be a time of unity and a time of growth together. I made like notes for the first 5 odd minutes of the video, and I just thought I'd let myself rant and talk about different things that I really care about, because I want to make sure that I'm my most authentic self in my videos. As always, I'll plug myself and have my Instagram down in the description. I might also have my sources down in the description if you want to do any further reading. And if you have any suggestions on what you'd like me to talk about in my painting and politics videos, do give me a shout. If you like the video, give it a like. If you don't like the video, also give it a like. But anyway, I hope you guys are all safe and well, and that everything is doing okay for you all. Just remember to look after yourselves and your mental health and each other. I hope you guys are well. Thank you for watching the video if you got this far, and have a good day. Bye.